Hello, everybody. It's Marci from wavesofcommunication.com. Welcome to another episode of the Language Facilitation Helpline podcast, and thank you for tuning in today. Every action you take to help the late talkers in your life is important. That the fastest results come when you enjoy the process of language facilitation. Parents, caregivers, and therapists worldwide have proven that when they connect and enjoy the process of spoken language, it emerges naturally. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Waves of Communication channel for another Spotlight interview. I am here with Kellita, who is the Showgirl Shaman. And I know it's not very typical kind of expert to have here on the Waves of Communication channel, but I met Kellita and we started talking about dance. And I know that there are a bunch of people in my world who use dance as a language facilitation tool, and we're going to dig into all that. But what I want you to do first, Kellita, is tell us a little bit about yourself.
I feel like I want to just start by saying that I actually didn't dance as a child. It's something that I brought in formally. I did for fun. I danced in the yard. I danced in the living room. But I didn't have lessons, and it wasn't something that I focused on until I had, basically until I had some trauma. And I've used dance as a way to come back and to, I've used it as a communication tool that has brought me home and brought me back. And my whole life, all phases of my career have had something to do with language and communication, whether it was teaching English as a second language. That was my first career. Being a psychometrist, which I didn't even know what that was before I did it. It's a measurer of the brain, which is a simple way to say it, but it's a way to find out how someone is organizing their own thoughts and perception of the world.
Yeah, very interesting. So what you did was you took your early fun, because we always talk about if it isn't fun, it isn't fun on this channel. And that's what I call my book, and everything's about fun. And so as you grow up, I think this is what happened to me too, because we're not young women. And as we've been through the things in our lives and we grow up and we get doing things, different things happen. You go through divorces, you go through marriages, you go through jobs, you go through losses, wins, all of that stuff in your life. And I think there are many, many moms that are on my channel that have sort of given up themselves because they have a child who's late talking. They don't get to see who they are. And one of the things that I would like to talk with you about is, how important it is for these moms and dads to represent themselves as people.
I think very much that we mirror each other, and children so much, first of all, just want to be mirrored by their parents. So much of mirroring is just basic. Like, I'll do a little mirroring with you, just really short, Marci. And now, even just with my face, we'll do a little mirroring. Now I'm going to go, Now.
Oh, you close your mouth. Yeah, so that's really subtle. It's kind of hard. I have to really focus to pick up on what you're doing.
Sorry for me putting you on the spot, but I wanted just to bring that, my face. And we both have naturally smiley faces. But
yeah, but if you did if I mirrored, let's say I'm going to have you mirror me now, and I went,
I'm going to do it.
And then suddenly you're like, how does it make you feel?
Oh my gosh, to be mirrored I feel more whole. I feel seen, and the simple exercise. It's true that children very young will notice that if their own joy, if their smile is bigger than is reflected back to them from their caregivers, whether it's parents or grandparents or whoever it is there, they will automatically shrink their smile.
Oh,
Because
wow.
because it's outside of the window of welcome. And
Ah,
so these are the ways.
window of
The
welcome.
window of welcome is actually a true term that is used in neuropsychology. Yes, it's outside of the window of welcome. So the more it doesn't, we don't have to do exactly, like the game. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. That's why I first used my hands. That's more of the gross motor mirroring. But
Yeah.
then there's the subtle, the facial. The face is a big one. So yeah, just to join in the emotions that are coming through the face and the body of children is
Yeah.
massive. And it also lets there be that communication that, I mean, language will come. It will come. The more pressure there is for anything, and this is for children or adults, the more pressure there is to have a certain skill down. Oh my gosh, that's gonna slow it down because there's too much pressure. So to the play that you spoke of, where there, I mean, the state of play and joy are actually the most vulnerable states. They're more vulnerable than sadness or grief. Play
Yeah.
and joy were our most like wide open. So the more we can meet children and be met ourselves, goodness, any age, we want the play and the joy and the fun, as you say. Um, yeah, it's to slow down and meet each other.
Words are the key, right? So I know that it's important. See, it's important that you start with the
Yeah,
connection. And that's where we always start. And that's why mirroring is a good place to start. And then once you open that window, and I call it the language facilitation zone, because in that
excellent.
window of welcome is
Yeah,
where you're most vulnerable and you're
yeah,
most open, so that you'll be more inclined to exchange, not just receive, but also share. I'm not just open to learning because I showed up to class on time. I'm here with the expectation that if I pay attention, I'm going to learn something here.
yeah.
And this is what's key for development,
Mm,
everybody. You have to show up not just in the window of opportunity, you have to show up ready to learn. And this connection is what's important about it, because you, as the facilitator, have to be so open and vulnerable yourself.
yeah,
You see what they show up looking for, because they're coming to you for it. They're coming to you for language models. They're coming to you for comfort. They're coming to you to solve their owies, feed them, whatever they're coming to you for. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about dance and how probably what you learned from your psych mapping and the kind of things that you were doing in that, as you're developing both the fun to dance as you remembered it as a child and the
yeah,
freedom of expression that dance allowed you, as to play in the wind or
yeah,
whatever you did as a little girl, feeling the energy. Now that you're an energy worker and you feel the energies, you're sensitive. That's why you call yourself a shaman. You can
yeah.
feel energies and you're sensitive to them.
Mm.
And dance is like another projection. So now we're talking about mirroring and we're talking about projecting. So what the child, when you've opened the space and the child is there, how do you recommend that parents introduce dance when they're in this zone, to see if their child might be motivated to jump on this bandwagon and activate some neuroplasticity?
Oh, I mean, I would say very similar to what we were just talking about with the mirroring. If the parent, makes a dance offering, which whatever it is, whether it's a certain, I really see dance as just, I don't see dance as difficult and fancy steps. It can be, but it's just basic. Like it might be stomping their feet to a certain rhythm, and
Right. So it's
that's
rhythmic movements. It's
rhythmic
just
movement.
movement, because those two things are important for the neuroplasticity, everybody.
Yeah,
the rhythm, that's what makes dance dance, and not just raising your hand or waving your hand. It's rhythmic movement, and it's not, and rhythmic movement in a pattern is what turns it into a dance. So it starts with even the basics, like you were even clapping your hands. This is a basic form of dance. So even the little like finger plays and stuff that the kids do, if you introduce those movements there, that's even the basic way to sort of activate this neuroplasticity, because we're doing rhythmic movement together with language exposure. So if you're like, I'm climbing the ladder and I'm, you know, or even if you're just clapping to the beat, that's gonna help you do it. So
I don't, tell me, do you look at secure attachment or things like this in your model?
Well, talk about that so that we can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, this feeling, it's very connected to the to mirroring, and just the more securely attached we are, is the more we feel that we're seen. We're seen as who we are, with the needs that we have, with the desires that we have, with just when I'm happy, I'm seen in my happiness. And when I'm hungry, I'm seen in my hungriness. And when I'm angry, I'm seen in my angriness. And it's all okay. It's all welcomed it's welcomed by mom. It's welcomed by dad. It's all good. And in that state, learning, when we have secure attachment, whatever our natural ability is, our learning is maximized.
Right.
It's just maximized. And so, one way to increase the secureness of someone's attachment, whether child or adult, is to do rhythm with your body. It is dance. Dance itself moves us towards more secure attachment. And it's just a beautiful feedback loop of the more we move towards secure attachment, the more our learning, our natural learning ability and joy opens up. And tell me how you call it. I love that. The
language facilitation zone. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say.
So zone is, open.
Right. Once you're in the zone, see, and how you get in the zone is by observing the child, and you watch them in their joy or hunger or fear or whatever, and you join them there in that experience, and then you basically talk them through it. Through you're feeling this and I'm feeling this. So for example, if your child's having a meltdown because it's tech time's done, they've had their hour a day and you're ready to transfer them off of that, and they don't have it, or something that's literally out of your control, like their ice cream falls on the sidewalk, right? So you're in that situation and the child is feeling the loss and the trauma of the loss of their treat that they waited in line for on this hot day and all of that stuff. And you see them just chucking stuff and throwing things and being angry, right, in their response to their feelings. In the language facilitation zone, you would join them, not being angry, but showing empathy.
Feelings,
right? First thing you do is to say, dude, you're suffering. You lost everything, because in the moment they're feeling it, I know it's just an ice cream and you could maybe buy another one or whatever, but to them, it is everything in that moment. And that's their most vulnerable. And so what you're saying is, in this moment, a little bit of rhythm or movement, maybe that's why we pat kids on the back, right? Or we rub their back or something like that. But even some rhythmic soothing while you're showing empathy
rocking,
trigger and increase attention to help you work through, okay, I understand you're angry, because obviously some point you got to work through, we can't have this thing. And the kid will be more receptive to dealing with, I can't have this thing, and deal with it is what it is, if they are regulated. And that movement so you can use it for a trauma, but again, I love that you help women who deal with this trauma, because what happens with us as people is it might happen once. Depending on how it was resolved at that moment, you might carry it forever. Your boss
Absolutely.
yells at you and leaves the room, and you start thinking about that all night long. You go home, you tell your husband about it, you're laying in bed, you're thinking about it. Why'd this happen to me? Why'd he yell at me? Why I'm feeling the loss,
Yeah.
right? And so your kids will hold it too. They
Yeah.
will, I think, this trauma. If they've
Yeah.
been yelled at, maybe you yelled at them because you were in an unconscious moment and you were in that situation and they have that trauma. That's why I think sort of creating on purpose
Yeah.
outside of those times on a regular basis as a new habit to
Yeah.
create these opportunities, these welcome spaces that are, because the triggers are going to happen anyway. But if you put in your plan to have this time, then you can present rhythmic movement from a positive way. Now, I know the OTs use it with swinging, like they swing.
Okay, that's what I didn't know, but my hit was some rocking would.
Yeah,
would
that's
good.
usually what the OTs do, and that's kind of that rhythmic. That's why swings work and things like that. But what I want to do is move past the initial trauma to some skills that parents can use to facilitate excellence. Because on this channel, like you said, the speech will come. We know the speech will come, but these kids have blockages, Kellita. They have physical blockages, environmental blockages, and mindset blockages that keep triggering them and their parents over and over and over again. And I want to help them. Yeah, I want to help them with some tools that when you're feeling triggered, first of all, these are prevention. So these are tools for prevention so that you get triggered less. And when you get triggered, you resolve it easier. So we talked about what to do if you get triggered. It comes down to the basics: rhythmic movement, rocking your baby, hugging your baby, that kind of business. But how we move it into dance is where you have to be the facilitator. You have to be the one to create the situation. So give us some tips, some ideas. How can parents put together a fun dance opportunity out of the blue that would be enhancing to their kids? What kinds of things can they try?
I would say, and to practice this, as you said, not just get ready out of the heat of the moment. Have develop some, you could call it a number of things, whether it's just a little dance ritual or
we have a routine. So in the workbook, I guide parents to pick 4 times a day where they set up the scene. Basically, they can do it during toothbrushing or bath time or whatever, but this is dance time. Dance time language facilitation, where you're like, after lunch today, I'm gonna do this. What do they do?
I would suggest creating something together, first of all, where you gather the vocabulary. I love this because for everyone to know, we have not talked exactly about this. So it's really fun when there's yes,
together. Everything happens together on this channel. You don't set it up aside, but I love the idea of creating it together from the point of choosing the music, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you got it. So the child, maybe 3 out of 4 times the child will choose this song, and the parent can choose sometimes,
Right. Oh, yeah. I love that. Always everybody has a chance, or take turns choosing. Today we dance my song, tomorrow. Or if you have multiple kids in your family, they could each take a turn choosing. Maybe one likes hip hop, another likes punk, another likes rock and roll. You never know.
Absolutely.
So I like that. Okay.
I actually would start one step before that whoever's choosing that time, whichever sibling or parent, that first, what they want to feel through this short dance. Do they want to feel joy? Do they want to feel curiosity? Maybe that's too big a word. Tell me what would be some things?
Well, anything depends on the age of the parents. So when you think about kids, you could just do easy. songs that feel happy,
Songs
or
that feel happy.
you want to feel happy, or a serious song.
So, yes.
You could be happy or serious,
or exciting, or
exciting,
or sleepy time song, or
And
whatever.
if you don't know, I just thought about this. What if they did like an experiment where you went through like Spotify or something,
Oh, yeah.
and you were like, this song, because you don't ask, this isn't a test, this is a demonstration. So you say, this song makes me feel happy because it's a boppy song. This is a serious song. And this is a love song. This is a sad song. The story's talking about, whatever, the dog died, that thing. So I love that you were educating the kids, right? We're preparing them, equipping and empowering. That's what we do on this channel. So first we equip them with a vocabulary of music, right? You have the music that speaks up, music that speaks down. And then you say, all right, now I get to pick today. I want to pick a happy dance. I'm going to pick the happy music. And then I got to know what you're going to say next, right? The happy movements. What movements make you feel happy?
Exactly. And there can be, I'm almost sure that whoever, their body's going to tell them and show some movement.
That's what's amazing about dance. You're like, what makes you feel happy? And then you just do it. Whatever.
You don't even, exactly. And so that's going to be one of the movements. And I suggest very few, 1 to 3 primary movements in just short
Keep
and
it simple.
Simple.
Keep it simple. Look, so keep your music vocabulary small. You don't have to have a million to choose from, because remember, that whole process can be distracting in itself. And we're trying to get dancing here, but but I love how we're breaking down the steps, because remember, when we think about these steps, you understand as facilitators why you're doing it, why it's important that you take the time to talk about the emotions behind songs so that your kids are equipped to do this. It's just like why we teach kids the labels for all the farm animals, so they know how to play with the farm, right? Eventually, this is the cow and this is the pig and whatever they do. It's the same with dance. And then I suggest you give these moves a name, a label, because they like it. So it's the wiggle move, or the happy hands, or the flashy, whatever you call it. That gives you, because they call them jazz hands or kicky feet or, whatever they do on TikTok things. I love that, that we can, guitar, air guitar, and then you let them, do those things. And that's the other thing, is they need to see examples, because I know if they're not watching TikTok, they're not seeing all those things, those moves I just did. And you got to be the model. You got to say, this makes me feel like this, and this makes me feel like this. Or because it's not just feelings that we communicate. Like I said, I'm climbing the ladder, I'm sweating the, all those moves are called, because they look like the actions they are. It's another way to sneak in some fun language is facilitation. We're learning why the dances are
washing the dishes.
Washing dishes, exactly.
Combing my hair. Yeah, actually.
And then they carry over to functional skills too. I love it. You can do the washing, brushing the teeth dance, anytime you want. And then it's building neuroplasticity, not just building muscle strength because you're moving, but building the motor connections with the language, with the rhythm, that are activating the neuroplasticity that's necessary for functional language improvement.
And I'm a little boring because I'll always come back to, and the mirroring with the parent, so the secure attachment is increasing, which makes everything better.
Yeah, because if it isn't fun, it literally quits working. It's like, the light switch goes.
It isn't safe.
Because think about if you've ever felt pressure to dance in front of people.
Oh, I have.
It's the worst thing ever.
Period. Yeah.
Do anything in front of people, but dance when you don't know what you're doing, look like a fool or whatever. And some people are like, dance, if you didn't dance in the air, like you just don't care. I mean, that's what this really has to be. However, when you dance without this focus, see, that's why it's the Showgirl Shaman. You can't just be a showgirl. You can't just be a shaman. You have to include the connection. The connection is everything. That's why we connected so well when we talked in the podcast group, because you're like, I teach women to empower themselves. I'm like, it gets way deeper than that. Way, way deeper. It's about connection. Because when we dance, we connect with our audience. If it's ourselves in the mirror, or it's, you know, the whole studio audience or whatever is like that. And remember, you're on display. I know these parents feel like they're on display all the time, and they don't want to feel like they're looking like an idiot. And the best way to not look like an idiot is to get your kids to dance with you. And then y'all look like it together, and you've got a crowd, and now you're just expressive. Now you're just saying what you're saying. You're not different. You're you. And I love, this is what we're trying to empower here. Because these kids are different. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They don't develop the same as other kids. They have different kinds of behaviors. They have different kinds of preferences. They have way different kinds of communication. And we want to empower these kids to evolve it, to get it better and better and better every day. Not just like you're good at doing whatever. We really want to evolve it. And that's where I think this dance can be. It allows you to be who you are, but when you do it the right way. Now, I know you didn't do dance classes or anything like that as a child.
Until junior high, until kind of... Yeah.
So now that you are a performer and you coach people to perform, there is a level of practice and dedication and repetition that you have to get at some point. Once you're past that trauma, like you decide, this is my thing. Like, dance is working for me. Dance is my jam. Dance is my activator. And these parents are realizing that because their kids won't stop dancing. I've got one little girl in India, bless her heart, little Nia. She was making grandpa dance and mommy dance and all that. Now her mom has a history of dance. She did a little dance performance and stuff. And so she saw videos and the costumes and all. And she was just all into the whole culture of
both mom and daughter. Yeah. That's beautiful.
And so they really used, before she was verbal, this little girl danced 24/7. She wanted everybody to dance with her, dance with me, and she didn't have time for them if they wouldn't dance. That's how much she loved it, right? But her parents used functional stuff to get her just as excited about all the other things she was learning, like brushing her hair, and because they would dance while they did
that. Oh, I love it. I do love that.
Yeah. So they showed her what else is available. See, that's the problem with little kids that get obsessed by things. They just don't know what else is available to them. And when they feel, like I said, it's the connection that's important, because you connect with someone, that mirror of your goal. I want to be big like mommy. I want to talk like mommy. I want to be beautiful like mommy. I want to dance like mommy. They do, but they want you to bring them. They don't want you to just say thank you or good job when they do it. They want you to experience together with them until they're so good that they're like, watch me, right? But until then, they still want you in, don't they?
They do. And what you're talking about now, it's reminding me of something you said at the beginning that was very, very powerful. And we haven't gone to explore it more. And I want to pull it back in. You mentioned the parents who, are committed and dedicated to helping facilitate their child have all the skills that will serve them in their life, especially language, but all of them. And you said, and it's important that you, the parent, that you have your own life and experience, that it is not 100% focused. Right. Because it's so easy when it feels like, oh, there's a problem here. We've got to focus on it. Oh my gosh. It's actually incredibly helpful to the child to see that you, as the parent, you're okay. That their delay has not taken you so off your own center that you are not, like you named this, like that you are not doing the things that you enjoy. There's a lot of power in that. It is not neglectful. Right. For you to tend yourself as the whole person that you are, even though you are a caretaker. I mean, a parent of a child, it's a massive thing, but because that is going to communicate. the child will mirror your own wellness, and in the best way. You, when I say self-centered here, I mean you being in the center of yourself, and that becomes something that they want to mirror.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's going to help all of it. So I love that you
Yeah,
said that.
when you're in desperation mode,
Yeah.
they are in desperation mode.
Yes.
And that's not fun for anybody. It doesn't
No.
feel good to feel desperate. But again, it's really about potential here, right?
Yeah.
Because you see, when you connect, you see the spark
Yeah.
that reminds you that this kid is smart and you are smart and you are connected and you have love beyond what even your exhaustion will allow.
Yeah.
You have it in you.
Yeah.
But you can't access it if you are exhausted. So I think it's important that you find these fun ways. And that's why you're here to help these moms realize that it's not I know it's a big job, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. It is your life. So let's make it fun every day. Dance through the day. And even if you're not a dancer, okay, so let's say.
I really want to emphasize that. Yeah, because I primarily work with people now at this point in my career. I used to focus more on the first decade of my dance career. I did teach group dances, and it was very, we had choreographies, and it was all specific. And that was beautiful and wonderful. But now I work with any woman, no dance skill required. And I don't teach dance steps anymore. It's completely about what I help people find their own signature movement that they didn't even know that they had. So it's their own, it's not about learning something prescribed. It's about finding the movements that actually express. Even though, yes, language, and yes, I know that is a big focus of what we're desiring here in this world with you, Marci, is to help the children with the language delays that come from all the reasons. And I fundamentally believe, and I love words. I'm a lover of words, and I'm a lover of movement. Ultimately, the body will always be more specifically expressive than language ever can be. This might sound a little abstract, but some of you.
No, it's true. That's why, remember, the whole process here on this platform is to evolve behavior into spoken language, because we all start communicating from the time before we come out of the womb through our behavior. We move around in there.
The sound we make, the cry means something. Yeah,
exactly. They change. It just evolves from the very first, I'm out in the world, to now I'm hungry. Now I've got to go potty. Now I need my mom. Now I want to whatever. And then it evolves from there into
all communication.
Drag you around and point to things. And then it moves up and up and up and up and up into language, and even multiple spoken languages. And and we're all continuing to learn language. You and I are continuing to learn new words
every day. I'm looking, wait, what's that word? I love that word.
Right. And concepts. And tell me about it, and how does it relate to me? That's at this stage of my life, I can't memorize anything anymore. Everything has to be functional. I have to have, why is this important for me? Otherwise it leaves my head faster than I can whatever. And that's what I coach these parents, because I know you're busy, right? You're out there chasing kids around and doing things and trying to get them to brush their teeth and do all that stuff. But this is why it's important that you take time in your schedule every day, not every week, but every day, to just consider how you're feeling and how you're bringing how you're feeling to the table. And then if you need help figuring out what that is, these are the reasons that Kellita is talking about, because that's how she helped herself, right?
Yeah, because thank you for bringing it. I had no language for, because the truth is, I mean, as the brain develops, our brains are not developed by the time we're 13. Yes, women, it goes till maybe around 20, and men longer. It could be up to 25 before their brains are even cooked or complete.
Right.
And so when we have experiences that are outside of what our brain can process when we're younger, the only way we can express it is through our bodies. The only way.
That's right. And you know what? The other thing too is you can't help it. That's why the kids will tell you, because even though these kids, like we've got kids with ear infections that won't stop jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping because they know, they feel
it.
Jumping moves that stuff in
fluid.
And so, but they don't jump on purpose. They don't think I'm going to go jump and move the fluid in my ear. They're not thinking about it consciously. They just say, I got to jump. I got to jump. Just like you feel like I got to eat something. I got to go outside. I got to go potty. You have a feeling that comes in you that triggers you to take action. And see, this is what I believe dance does for grownups, right? When you buy in, you got to buy in your mindset. This is what I need. This is what's good for me. This is what's helping me. That's why we went into the details to talk about how it's triggering even your own neuroplasticity, right? As a language facilitator, are you at your best to do this job?
Yeah.
Because you want to be, you're giving yourself and everything beyond what you even have. So this is the way. Balance is key, right? Balance of yourself.
Yeah. I'm also thinking so much that I'm thinking, so what can be another practical thing that's related to what we spoke of that. I'm thinking of that. I don't know why, maybe because of brushing the teeth, I was thinking it as a nighttime exercise, but really what we spoke of before about choosing the person who's going to name what's picking the song and the feeling in it. That's something that could be fresh every time, every day it's visited. I also think there could be something really valuable about, this is similar to that, of creating it together, but repeating a sequence, one of them maybe for a whole month. And it can come from what's discovered, like, okay, now
you make up your own dance or add a new move every day. I love this.
Add a new move every day for a month, and then by the end of the month, maybe it has to just be 2 weeks. I don't know if that's too many.
Right. A month is a long time, but I think 2 weeks, I think that's great. Or even try 1 week and see if you get bored, change it. If not, keep going. And because I love that, because remember, that's what we were talking about now. And as you get older and you get to the level of excellence with this, we're facilitating through the movement, we're triggering the neuroplasticity and stuff, but the only real growth happens with real practice and real work, because we are changing a whole neurological system here. And without consistent work with this, the progress goes up and down. And that's why we talk about a lot on this channel. Waves of communication is because it goes up and down a lot. And I think part of that is because it is challenging our egos, ourselves, our mindset. Parents don't feel like they're allowed to be happy. Maybe your partner says you're not allowed to be happy. They get these ideas from somewhere that they're not allowed to do what they want. And I think this is what's important. So
we get these ideas from not just one somewhere, from many somewhere.
And once you hear it and you start focusing on it, then you start hearing it everywhere. And that happens for both negative and positive, ladies and gentlemen. If you start listening to positive messages and then you start turning the channel when you hear things that, that's the old way of thinking. That was when I gave too much of myself and I felt exhausted every day and frustrated by my child, instead of, I can't wait to connect and have dance time. I can't wait to open that door, that window of welcome, this place of warm and connection. I can't wait to get up and get connected with my kid, instead of, I got to help my kid get through their toothbrushing and I got to make my kid and we're working on potty training. All of those things, every single one of those targets, you can dance your way, literally. Practice to get those things solved. So it's not just spoken language, it's literally all habit change.
It's true. And I want to just encourage want to encourage the parents to allow yourself to be a subject, meaning allow yourself to enjoy this to the fullest, because this can end up feeling like it's just as much for you as it is your child, and that's okay.
No, it's better.
Okay.
Remember,
Yes,
without
yes.
you being good, don't worry. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's necessary.
It's more
necessary.
than okay. Yeah.
You're giving you permission.
Yeah.
It's not self-centered from a selfish
No.
standpoint. It's self-centered so that you're prepared. Because remember, just like we talk about the kids, unless they're feeling well, unless they're happy, you could bring the most exciting dance to them and they're going to knock it off. So the connection is key. The movement is key. The rhythm is key. And finding a way to be happy through all of it is the icing on the cake that makes it all move. So
and
I
love simple. Please,
simple.
Parents who consider that you are not dancers, you are you can't
Facilitators. You're just facilitating. You're just facilitating with movement. You're just moving together.
Yeah.
And movement feels good. If it doesn't feel good, move a different way. Because movement feels good and everybody needs to move. Don't this business of my muscles, my can't, that's all mindset business. Like these women do burlesque. These women in their 50s and 60s and older in scanty costumes out there doing their thing, having a blast with Kellita, who empowers them and equips them to bring their true selves to their lives. And they're not just doing dances. They are killing it in their lives. I'm absolutely sure because of what you're doing. And you're going to help. These suggestions are going to help these language facilitator moms kill it with their language facilitation because they're going to feel great about their process. All right, Kellita, if any of my women, the women who follow my channel, and there are a lot of them, if they are interested in learning about what you do, how did they find out?
They would find me on the internet at showgirlawakening.com. And a really fun way to first make contact is to take a quiz to discover which showgirl archetype is your primary archetype. Is it the diva? Is it the vixen? Is it the starlet?
I'm going to take it. I want to know. I'm just going to incorporate this in my own life. I love that. I love a little fun freebie that people can do for investigation because information is power. And now you know what to do with it once you find out. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really appreciate all of you that you've shared today.
Thank you, Marci. It's been a pleasure and joy. And to everyone, a little shimmy.
Let's do it. Okay. I love it. Thanks for tuning in today. With a whole range of Waves of Communication resources, from free content to customized coaching, you now have access to everything you need to elevate spoken language to infinite success. You are welcome to get your journey started with my 11-week language facilitation Journey to Speech workbook. This tool is helping parents worldwide create nonstop language facilitation opportunities that elevate spoken language beyond even their own expectations. You can access this workbook and all of the language facilitation resources on my website, wavesofcommunication.com.